Hi, John.
Hello, everyone.
Hey.
Hello, hello.
Welcome, everyone. So we'll wait just another minute, and then we will start. It's good to see everyone. While we wait, it would be wonderful if you can put your name in the chat and where you are connecting from.
Hmm.
This way we get to see the diversity of who we are in this little community we're creating.
Hi, Shaista. Just want to shout out to Shaista.
Hello. Happy to be here wherever Rawan is.
Thank you. So we will be recording this time together. If anyone doesn't want their recording to be on the final YouTube that we're going to send out to the rest of the people that didn't participate, you could please inform Tom. We'll put an email at the end as well. And this YouTube will be available online as well for people who weren't able to make this session and want to learn more about the pilgrimage in October. Cambridge, welcome, North Carolina. Zach is in my kitchen, by the way, when he says Beja la Palestine. He's all right.
Awad residence. That should be your address.
Yeah. Great. So yeah, let us start. We will try to also finish on time on the top of the hour. My name is Sami Awad, and I am really, really honored to see so many of you here, people I know, people that I haven't met before, uh, and to have you join this Q&A about a unique pilgrimage we are going to hold in Palestine at the in October of this year, which we will share more about. And then most of the time, what we would like is to try to answer the questions that you have about it. Our intention here is to always create spaces that would make you decide if this is the right thing for you. It's not our intention to convince you, to sell you, to pull you into anything, but for you to really decimate and see, like, yeah, this works for me. This is something that I want to be part of and ready to commit to. And this is why we're creating these spaces. Before I start giving a little summary of the pilgrimage, I want to introduce the team to you and ask each of them to speak for a minute about themselves so you get to know this amazing team that has come together to hold the space. And then I will speak, and then Rawan will share a little bit more about the program. So I'm just going to go with what I see in front of me on the screen. Tom.
Yeah, my name's Tom Fellner. I'm with Holy Land 360, so I've been helping facilitate the this tour with Sami and several other tours with various NGOs out of Palestine. My background is kind of came from a pretty conservative evangelical background, um, and then around 2016, for a variety of reasons with our church, we did a Holy Land tour with a dear friend of mine. He kind of facilitated it. And so that was, we spent time in Jordan and Palestine and Bethlehem and Nazareth and all those different places. And it really kind of rocked my world, kind of changed my whole worldview. And And at the time, I was running a marketing business. And I said to myself that when I sell this business, which we were planning on doing, I wanted to work in this arena full time. So sold my business back in 2018, and since then started Holy Land 360 and helped facilitate a variety of tours in Palestine and Israel and Jordan and so forth. And really excited to be working with Sami on this particular tour, as this is really a pretty different tour than the things that I've been involved in the past, with less of a focus on seeing sites and more of a focus on transformation. So that's kind of my gig.
Great. Thank you, Tom. Raushan?
Hello, everyone. It's really nice to see you. My name is Rawan Malhis. I'm from Nablus, Palestinian. I'm privileged to be Sami's assistant. So I work behind the scenes to coordinate and work on communication and any program that is related to the Sacred Awakening. And I'm really excited to maybe have you for our next pilgrimage.
Thank you. Rawan?
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. My name is Rawan Roshni. I'm originally Palestinian and from the diaspora community. So I've had a international life. Born in Kuwait, raised in Jordan, lived in Canada also, and very, very, very honored to be working on this pilgrimage in my ancestral homeland and with Palestinian comrades. Yeah, what I bring is I'm a singer and a songwriter, and I'm also a transformational facilitator. So I've worked on many different themes, and Sacred Awakening is a huge alignment with the things that I work on throughout the last 10, 15 years in the Swana region. Yeah, welcome, and looking forward to getting to know you and to answering all your questions today. Thank you.
Thank you, Rawan. Yeah. And just to introduce myself a little bit, my name is Sami Awad, a Palestinian activist. Rawan would like to say I'm a songwriter too. Uh, maybe we'll sing songs when you come here in October for you.
Absolutely.
Yes. And yeah, many of you know me, the involvement with nonviolent resistance and activism pretty much all of my life. I'm also co-director of an organization called Nonviolence International that promotes and engages in advocating for nonviolence globally and also living the life of resiliency and resistance in the land. I am in a town called Beit Jala near Bethlehem. And to jump into a little bit of my background when it comes to this space that we're gathering in, I was born into and grew up in a Christian family, quite a devout Christian family, evangelical Palestinian Christians. We have those here as well. And I grew up in a church setting. Going to church 5 times a week was normal, actually, in the family, in the setting that I grew up in. And in that, I grew up learning and studying and really loving a character named Jesus in the Bible. And his stories, his tales, his parables, the way he engaged with people, the things that he asked his followers to do really, really touched my heart. At the same time, in all honesty, I say I was also challenged with the institution of religion, of the church, that for the most kind of put the teachings aside and just focused on certain aspects of religion and salvation and what happens to you after you die and what happens to you here and if you're sinning or not sinning and repentance, a language that was a lot of it embedded in fear, which felt to me kind of go against the teachings of this man. Jumping into my journey, I tried to align, like many people, both narratives to see how they could fit with each other. But then it reached a point in my life, and I share this as a personal experience, where it just didn't fit anymore. I had to choose. And I chose to put my energy and focus in studying the teachings of a Jewish rabbi who walked this land 2,000 years ago, a Palestinian Jewish rabbi, and loved his teachings, got deeper into the teachings. And the more I focused, the more I distanced myself from the institution of the church and religion, the more these teachings just started appearing more and more in new light for me. And the big focus was on what he called the kingdom of heaven or the kingdom of God. And what did he mean when he invited people to enter the kingdom here and now? When he said, the kingdom is within you. Let your kingdom come now. Your kingdom is here. And so these began to raise many questions for me. And again, theology didn't provide the answers for that. It ended up with me writing a book that was published last year called The Sacred Awakening, Reclaiming Christ Consciousness, where in it I try my best to show the journey of what Jesus meant when he was inviting people into kingdom. And what came to me is he is inviting us into a consciousness, into entering a new consciousness while being fully present in this world and the issues of this world. And I would probably say that many of you who are here in this space today are pilgrims on a journey of one way or another. People who are seeing what is happening around us in the world, from genocide, from authoritarianism, from dictatorships, from colonialism that is moving in new ways, in new approaches, from violence that many of us thought we should be over it by now. It should be done. Haven't we learned our lessons as humans? We've had all of these wars, we've had all of these conflicts. Why haven't we learned the lesson? And I think this is one of the big questions that we are engaging in this work that we want to do together. And the core of why I believe, based on the teachings of Jesus, why we haven't learned the lesson is because we could change our content, what we teach and how we teach people. We could change our context. I could move from one religion to one spiritual practice. I could move from one culture to the other. I could even move from one identity to the other. And we're still in the same loop. And this is why this word consciousness is so important in this work that we're doing. Until we shift our consciousness, until we awaken ourselves into a new consciousness, we will still stay in the loop. We will still stay in the loop of what we call patriarchy, the loop of fear, separation, hierarchy, identity, you and me, competition, comparison, things that we actually take for granted as this is just who we are. But really, it's not who we are. This is not the essence of who we are in our humanity. And so to awaken means to awaken that which is within us, to awaken the sacred that is within us, to awaken the holy that is within us. And by saying this, this is not about religion. This is about being present in the here and now and becoming the peace workers, the peacemakers, the activists that we are called to do to create a better world. This is what this invitation is about. The framework, and Rawan is going to share a little bit just on the framework of the days together, but I just want to introduce the core of the teachings that we will be engaged in. Many of you who've come from a Christian background know something called the Sermon on the Mount. That is the famous speech of Jesus. They call it his inaugural speech. If you want to listen to anything, listen to Matthew 5, 6, 7, or read it, and you kind of get what Jesus was about. The beginning of the Sermon on the Mount is something called the Beatitudes, the blessings. And the church has interpreted the Beatitudes as being a certain blessing for a certain character. If you are that character, you will receive a blessing. If you are poor in spirit, you will receive a blessing, which is called the kingdom of God. If you are mourning, you will receive a blessing, which is comfort. But you have to fit that box. If you are a peacemaker, you will receive a blessing. If you are merciful, you will receive a certain blessing. And so it kind of puts the burden on those who are in these positions to become that, so in order to receive the blessing. What I discovered through my reading of the life and teachings of Jesus is that the Beatitudes are not certain blessings meant for certain groups of people. They are the invitation. They are the journey. If the Sermon on the Mount was the inaugural speech telling us what it means to enter kingdom, then the opening of the Sermon on the Mount is the blueprint. It's the roadmap. And we are invited into becoming poor in spirit. We are invited into mourning and grieving. We are invited into being meek in how we relate and behave with each other. We are invited into hungering and thirsting for righteousness, that which is right. We are invited into becoming merciful. We are invited into becoming pure in heart. And we are invited into becoming peacemakers. And we are invited into the last one, expecting and accepting persecution when it happens to us, because this is how they dealt with the prophets before us. And so the journey that we will take is a very inner personal journey for your life and for yourself. Uh, Again, we're not going to promise you anything that your life is going to be transformed by 10 days, but we promise you that 10 days will open up the possibility of what can emerge in your life beyond that time. And with this, I will hand to Rawan, who is my co-carrier of the space that all of us will be part of.
Thank you, Sami. Yeah, I want to speak just very briefly to describe a high level of the arc of the journey that we will go through, both geographically and thematically. And then we'll open up for questions because that's what we're here for today. So to say that the 10th of October is the landing day. It's when we gather from all over the globe, wherever you come from. And then we will open on this evening. And then the first 2.5, 3 days, depending on how things are going, we would be in the desert. And this would be a time for fasting, for solitude, for silence, a time to really see what in us wants to die, to make space for the new, what of the old patterns need to be released. So this is a deep reflective time in the desert in which Jesus also had his deep reflective time. Of course, he did it for 40 years. We'll do it for 3 days. 40 days, sorry. And then we will travel from the desert up to the north of the land to the Galilee, where Lake Tiberias is. And there we will really start to dig deeper into the Beatitudes that Sami spoke of now. And this place is also geographically where that sermon took place. So we are trying to really map out the pilgrimage on the path to sacred awakening in the footsteps of teacher, sacred teacher. We will spend 3 days approximately, and this is all, malleable. So I'm giving you the high level, and also we will be present with what comes day to day, moment to moment. And after the Galilee, we will come back to Bethlehem, which is where we started. And from Bethlehem, we will go into more action-based assignments. I'm not going to say more. Let that be for that moment to be revealed. And after that, we will also have time in Jerusalem to really be at that stage of turning the tables of the temple, of being in the belly of the beast, of empire. And our last day on the 20th will be our closing as a group, and on the 21st, departure. So this is just high level arc, geographically and thematically. Thank you.
Thank you, Rawan. Yeah. So one of the questions we've gotten several times already, and I'll start with it, is are we going to visit churches? Are we going to visit holy sites? And my answer has been yes, but maybe not for the reasons you think we will visit churches and holy sites. Uh, and I think the themes that we will be moving for, the energy we'll be moving from, is really asking the question, if Jesus, as the man, was here today, what places would he go to? What churches would he visit? And if he went to there, what would he be saying and doing in these spaces? And so, as Rawan said, the last day will be in Jerusalem, where many people look at it as the holy site with all of the holy city with all of these holy sites. But let's remember, when he went to Jerusalem, he went into the place where empire had aligned itself with religion, and this is where he turned the tables over in the what we call the belly of the beast. And so one of the questions that you will leave with is what is that Jerusalem, not the heavenly Jerusalem, but that earthly Jerusalem in my life, where I need to turn the tables over, where I need to speak truth to power, where I need to resist. And so it's a journey of really going through the personal process as we starting in the wilderness, which is what Jesus did, going into the teachings, and then from the personal move into the collective, the actions. And I think this is a unique aspect of this work that we're doing, because it's not just about your spiritual journey with bypassing the reality. And it's not just about activism without having a heart of love and compassion be the center of your action. How do we bring both together? And a lot of information we just poured on you in 20 some minutes. So we want to open up the point of this gathering. Do you have any questions that you would like to ask that can help you also? Yes, Wind.
Thank you. Mine is a very personal question. I don't know if it's appropriate here, but I'm actually worried that I won't get in. I was banned. I was deported in 2012, had a 10-year ban, and I was going back to test the ban on October 7th, 2023.
Oof.
Obviously, I didn't make it in because there were no flights in. I made it to my layover city because I actually literally left the morning of October 20th, the morning of October 7th. So I guess I'm just wondering like what it would look like if they don't let me in, or if there's anything you can do to help me. I don't know. I
Yeah.
mean, I guess I'm just putting it out there. I really want to do this. And I have friends in Palestine I haven't seen for over 10 years. You know, it's like, so
Yeah, I just
so
want to
maybe you don't
start.
want to answer it now,
No,
but
no,
that's
but
my
what I want to say is I just want to honor you and Sherry and other people in this space who are activists who are also in the same question. Will they let me in or not for the work that you've done for Palestine and the Palestinian people all of these years? Uh, and I don't have an answer. We will see what we could do. This is something that we thought a lot about because we know many people want to be part of this and they're worried about if they're going to be in or out. We have seen people that have been banned for not being active in anything, just crossing from Jordan, just stopped, interrogated, and sent back and being told 99 years you're not allowed to come. So we are very aware of this and it's heartbreaking. But the invitation, let's just be in touch and see how things move by then. Yeah, but thank you for that.
Could I ask a follow-up question on Wynn's case? I wanted to ask actually Tom, and excuse my ignorance if this should be known and I don't know, but as a tour company, are you able to provide a document that's kind of like an invitation that shows that Wind is coming on an official, like religious themed tour? Is that an option?
We could do that for sure. I don't
Mhm.
know how much that would help,
Okay.
but we certainly could do that.
Okay, it might be helpful because when border guards are asking questions. If you have a booking in a certain place or some sort of organization that sends an invitation, it helps sometimes at the border. So I was just
Right.
thinking that. Yeah.
We are also working with Majdi Tours. I think many of you know Majdi Tours, the travel agency. Aziz Abu Sara, who's the Palestinian founder of this tour group. And so they're the ones that are organizing the logistics. And this is something that we could also see what they could provide. So thank you for that. Yes, Sherry.
Yes, hi, thank you. Nice to see you again, Sami.
You too.
Well, I had
Thank
two
you.
just logistical types of questions. The first is, are the flights included or coordinated so that we're all getting there at the times that we need to and with airport transfers and all that? And the other thing is, are we staying with Palestinian families or is there another type of accommodation?
Tom, you want to get?
Yeah, so the flights are not included. It's we you're on your own as far as like coordinating and setting up flights. But if you do request help with that, there are travel agents that we can get you in touch with to do that. Um, and just so you know, the best way to get there, from my understanding, is to fly into Europe, specifically Greece or possibly Italy, which is kind of close to Israel, and then book like a more of a regional flight from that location, say like Athens, Greece, into Israel or Jordan, and that would be the best way to do that. And if you need help with that or have questions, additional questions on that, I can certainly help.
Yeah, and Majdi has also said the Majdi Tours is ready to help with transport from the airport or from the border crossing. What we will do, like Tom said, we're not organizing the flights, but if there are groups that are coming together at the same time, we could organize pickup for them from the airport or from the crossing to come to Bethlehem. But the expectation is that we will start in Bethlehem, and this is the starting point. Regarding your second question, we will be using Palestinian facilities. We will be either staying in people's homes, which is something that is beautiful and amazing, or in local hostels, or maybe even covenants or spaces where will be very simple way of living and moving. We're not going to use five-star hotels. So if you're used to the five-star hotel scene, this is not going to be for you. We are going to go basic and simple and comfortable as much as possible and using local Palestinian facilities as much as possible. Alan?
Yeah, I am very grateful to be here and with this what looks like a wonderful group, and of course you, Sami. Um, yeah, several questions that I had, I think were asked already. So is it recommended to fly into Tel Aviv or to Jordan? What's the recommended way of getting there?
I can speak from a cost perspective. Cost wise, it would be less expensive to fly to Israel and to Tel Aviv. Um, both the hotel pickup or both the airport pickup and the flights from, if you're coming from Greece, are less expensive as opposed to flying into Jordan. So so from a cost perspective, that's what it'd be better to fly into Tel Aviv. I don't know about from a security perspective.
Yeah,
So
I can maybe chime in about the security perspective, because I don't live there, so I come in on my Canadian passport, and I've tried all the borders from Jordan, and I've also tried the Tel Aviv airport, and I have found that the Tel Aviv airport is much smoother, much easier, from a security perspective. Because Jordan, there are three crossings. One of them is the King Hussein Bridge, which is the only one that Palestinian nationals can cross from, so it's very crowded and takes a lot of time, and the treatment is not great at all. And then there are two other borders, but it entails a lot more cost and a lot more time to go all the way up north in Jordan or all the way down south, and then to cross from inside the country. So yeah, what I have found is that Tel Aviv is the smoothest, easiest, cheapest option if you have that option.
Yeah.
Um,
And this said, there are less flights now coming into Tel Aviv than going into Jordan. So this is
mm,
why we want to try to push for you not to book anything until as late as possible. We'll be informing you
mm,
of that because if flights open up to Tel Aviv, then it'll be much easier and the cost will be much better to do that. If not, then Jordan would be the option.
mm. So during the actual 10 days of the pilgrimage, um, all of the accommodations and travel together is covered. You take care of us on that.
Yeah.
I wondered about the time in the desert. Is this do we like Vision Quest, like we sleep out and do we need equipment or anything like that, or we just come with our ordinary suitcase of clothes?
Yeah, we are gonna provide everything for you in the desert. Our intention and our invitation is for people to sleep there, and it's not gonna be just on a yoga mat in the rocks. I
Uh,
promise you that.
mhm,
It'll be accommodations that are available. We're talking with several Palestinian Bedouin campsites that have accommodations that have organized retreats and spaces in their area for us to be there.
mhm,
Uh, so we'll try to do that our best. And this said, we are also don't want to put undue pressure on people that for medical reasons or health reasons
mhm,
cannot spend a night in a cave in the desert or in a tent in the desert, and we will accommodate all of these needs. We want you to
mhm.
be comfortable
Uh,
in these spaces.
just one more thing. Um, is there time that there are options to participate in olive harvesting or protective presence activity or anything like that?
We created the program around the olive harvest season so that people can then choose if they want to stay longer to be involved in olive harvesting and protective presence, especially during this time of olive harvesting, that this option will be available for them.
After
In
the,
after or before, if you want to come, it's very open, but after is usually the harvest season. It's October, mid-October into November.
I see.
We might have a day together to do that, but it won't be sort of as an action, a political action, more as the surprise things that Rawan didn't mention to you.
Mm,
Uh, but if you want to be longer for a few days, a few weeks to be in solidarity in
mm.
Palestinian areas, we can definitely work with you to make that happen. Good. I want to get your name right. Just Sisata.
Shaista,
Rawan, Rawan. Yes,
Rawan,
my,
say it
Shaista,
again.
Shaista.
Shaista.
yeah,
Okay, sorry.
perfect. Yeah, no, it's so beautiful. You're inviting us into sacred consciousness, and we're all like, what about the airports, the borders, the practicality of it all? Like, in
Yeah.
a way, you did touch upon my question, which is about health and medical things, and yeah, how strong do we need to be? Rowan mentioned hiking. Like, do I need to go into training in order to, yeah, because I want to come, but I don't know if I'm strong enough to manage the desert and whatever there might be. I mean, I'm sure Rowan will help me with anything, and I want to follow this beautiful invitation, which feels unreal. But yes, from a health perspective, how strong do we need to be?
Yeah. Thank you for that. Thank you for that question. And as we said, we are not going to push you into anything. When we're talking hiking, it's not like walking a hike for a 10-kilometer hike. It's just also the time in the desert where you find your space, find a place for you to be alone, to sit with yourself, to reflect, to allow to see what emerges. Uh, we actually said fasting, but we will definitely have food and water for those who need. We're not going to just throw you into a 40-day fast or a 3-day fast. We just want to invite you to also challenge yourself a little bit, to push your comfort boundaries as much as it works for you. But we will not do that. You will do that to yourself. So you'll say that I could spend another 2 hours in silence in the desert. I could do that, and that's what we will be working with, and we will be present there all the time for any care that needs to happen. And the weather will be much nicer than the hot weather of August and September as well. So that, yeah. And then after that, it should be quite smooth in the Galilee area, in the hostels that we will be staying in the spaces we will engage in. It'll be more of a setting, like a retreat setting. So it'll be teaching, time for reflecting, time for group sharing, time for stepping into spaces where are sharing truth and vulnerability, debriefing, resting, that kind of retreat space that we will create.
Lots and lots of singing.
Lots of singing. Yeah, prepare yourself. Yes, Sherry.
Hi, Sami. Good morning. Logistics I'm very comfortable with. I've traveled a lot in the region, so my questions are more specific to the book, and it may or may not be the context in this setting. But I wanted to use specific pages that I'd written about 220 to 222, which specifically wrestle with anger and frustration and the whole passage through grief and those kinds of things. And, this is a short time and we wouldn't be able to go into detail, but how would you visualize grappling with that particular difficult subject in this context? To give an example of how this whole passage might unfold. Thanks.
Yeah.
And I'm thrilled to
Thank
see
you.
my friend Wind is also. We're going to get together and wrestle with this together.
Partners in crime. Yeah, thank you for that question, Sherry. And I just want to say Sherry has been so helpful in guiding and supporting and giving advice and also offering herself at the right time to come in to support people who are going to be on this journey, who might need very also intimate personal support as they're going through that journey. So thank you for that, Sherry. And yes, as I said before, the best that we are going to do is to touch on these topics. It's a journey, the journey of grieving, the journey of letting go of what I hold from the past, burying, putting to death in a way is a very, very challenging and very difficult journey. And this is why we will start actually with in a way, the most difficult parts of this journey. And really asking myself, what are the things that I'm attached to out of fear? What are the things that I am not ready to let go of because of reputation? Because I believe these things provide safety for me, provide a haven for me. If it's belief systems, if it's ideology, if it's relationships, if it's connecting with material things, or maybe even spiritual things, and to really say how these things have really helped me in my life, how they have guided me. And do I need these things in my life to be able to continue, or is there something else that is ready to open for me? And we will create these spaces. I'm hesitating to use the word ceremony because ceremonies can become very performative in a way, but we will create spaces where you as an individual really go through your journey and see, the journey of Jesus and the temptations was not, again, in my view, a little devil coming to his mind and telling him, why don't you do this and why don't you do that? It was his ego. It was the journey of discovering his ego and how strong it is, and then to release it and to let it go, and then move from that space. So you're touching on the most sensitive part of this, the most part that might bother many people, but it is the question, what do I need to let go of in order to enter a new consciousness? And to understand how the prevailing consciousness will always tell us, no, don't let go of this. This is good for you. You need to have this. And to say, no, maybe it's time to let go. Sorry, not too much time on this, but I hope this helps a little bit. Anna.
Oh, hi. I feel very, very moved and touched and yearning to go, and I'm really scared. And my background is I'm German. I mean, I've lived in the United States for most of my adult life, but I've always been scared to go to Palestine or Israel. I have never been. Somehow there is this, being German and my ancestors contributed to this. And now when I mention to people I want to go now, they say, are you crazy going at this time? And with the missiles falling. And so I'm just wondering if you could say something about the safety aspect. And I also want to add that actually the fasting in the desert is the thing that scares me the least, because I've done that before in other places. But
Good.
yeah, just overall, if you could say something about safety, security, war, being at war. Yeah.
I will also invite others. Rawan, if she would like to share.
Yeah, I can speak to it. I mean, I don't live inside of Palestine, but many of my beloveds do. And so I'm constantly in touch and on the pulse of what's happening, whether it's in the West Bank or in 1948 Israel proper or in Gaza, or also regionally. I'm based in Jordan. My family's in Jordan. Raushan is in Jordan right now, I believe, also. We have beloveds in Lebanon, in Iran. So yeah, this is very much alive in the region, and I will not deny, yeah, feelings of fear. They are legitimate. And also I can maybe give some information of what it's like in terms of areas that are most affected and areas where life is actually going on business as usual in a very weird uh, parallel universe on the same land. Um, so, for example, about a month ago or before ceasefire, when the fire was being exchanged between Iran, Israel, US, and also the Gulf states, and it started to spread around the region. Um, yeah, most people were continuing their lives, going to work, getting on the public transport, having dinner with their families. It was really the specific hotspots that are getting affected. In Israel proper, obviously, in Tel Aviv and in Haifa, these were the areas that were being targeted by Iran and Lebanon. In the West Bank, I mean, there has always been settler violence and checkpoints, and this has not changed. This has been the status quo for 78 years. So that's a reality it's good to be in touch with, but also internationals are not at risk from that reality. It's the Palestinians, and that's why whoever said they wanted to stay for protective presence, can't remember the name, Alan. Yeah, that's why many people come to support with the protective presence. And in Jordan, what happened was that there were sirens, there was tension in the air, right, like in the general field. But yeah, this is the reality on the ground, is that there are some places that are dangerous, and other places where life is continuing. Maybe one of the biggest risks is that airspace closes and that you might not leave in the time frame that you initially uh, planned for. So you will be our guest for longer and you can pick more olives with us. But I think this is maybe one of the biggest,
Yeah.
let's say, widespread inconveniences is that like when airspace closes and then it's just wondering how to get out and when to get out and so on. But Sami, please do put more
Yeah.
details. Yeah.
I will just add one line. Thank you, Rawan. I will just add one line is that we will make sure that you are never in harm's way. No matter what we do, no matter where we go, we are going to take care of you fully. We have been doing this work for many, many years, working with Holland Trust and the travel program. Tom has been here with the groups as well. If we even feel and sense that there is going to be tension happening in an area, this is why we invite you to be with us in the changes of the program itself when it happens. We will change everything to make sure that you are safe. Uh, and 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 if you decide to come, tell us, and I will cross the bridge to Jordan, and we come together. We cross it back together.
Yeah,
Would love to have you here. Thank
thank
you.
you. I really want to come and I have to, yeah, figure it out.
Yeah.
But thank you very much.
Yeah, we'll stay in touch for sure.
Mhm.
John Moyle, my friend, been ages.
Yeah, it's been a while. Hey, Sammy. Hello, everyone. Thank you for holding this forum. My question is that this pilgrimage has a very distinct Christian or Jesus focus. Do you anticipate drawing upon other faith traditions, teachings, practices, and so forth throughout the week? Whether, Jewish, Muslim, indigenous, Buddhist, whatever it might be. Just wondering if you might speak to that. Thanks.
Yeah, she's smiling already because she wants to say something. But I will say when we talk about Jesus, we are not talking Christianity, and I will keep emphasizing this point. It is about a man who achieved some level of attunement, sacredness, enlightenment, whatever we want to call it, prophetic voice, like many people in the world, people that we know, people that we don't know. And so it is the basic structure is the teachings of this man into sacred awakening, into kingdom consciousness. And I will keep emphasizing this point. And I know because the moment people hear Jesus, they think Christianity, the institution that kind of took over his life and did whatever it did with it. But the basis will be Jesus as a man who lived this land 2000 years ago, just like if we go study Buddhism, just like if we study Sufism. So there's the basic teaching, and then you have Rawan.
Yeah, I just wanted to share that there's already diversity in the team. I myself don't come from a Christian background. I was born into the Muslim faith and I relate to it through Sufism and I also relate to pre-monotheistic spiritual practices of the pagan times and the goddesses of our region and to plant medicine. And I think that there's an intersectionality between all of these different fields of spirituality and knowledge and consciousness. And so I think that this will happen organically, that we will hold an open space that encourages the diversity and the reaffirmation that comes from referencing many different schools of thought or figures and teachers that have come in human form and non-human form that can just keep on speaking the truth and showing us the way. Yeah, so this is my perspective on this.
Thank you.
And we have been approached by many people from many traditions to see what they could offer into this space as well. Alan, right there being one of them. So coming from a Jewish background and a Buddhist background. So the diversity is already present in the space as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
John, Fairfield. Are you with us, John? Okay. Here he is.
Hello. My apologies. Most of your questions have been logistical, so maybe this isn't the right place, but my question is more on the order of theology and practice. Jesus was a healer, and I've often tried to push the edges of what it would mean to try to heal our enemies of the trauma that is causing them to view us as subhuman, as untrustworthy partners in negotiation, and so on. So my question is, how do we go about healing people who do not want to be healed?
We could open a whole new hour on this. Thank you for that question. I will share a little bit on this because as a Palestinian living under this situation, living in this reality of occupation and genocide and fascism, it's a big question for me. And actually, one of the first questions I began to ask that I couldn't find answer in the church, in theology, is when Jesus calls his followers to love their enemy. What does that mean? What does that look like? Because he was living under a similar situation. He was living under the Roman occupation. And the Jews at that time who lived under occupation and other groups that will live under the Roman Empire suffered greatly. Crucifying people is not what just happened to Jesus. Like you look the wrong way at a Roman soldier, you might end up on a cross the next day. That's how bad it was then. And he still, in the midst of all of this, called his followers not to negotiate peace with their enemy, not to resolve conflict with your enemy, not to sit in dialogue circles with your enemy, to love your enemy. And this is actually, John, the question that led me begin to ask the deeper questions. That particular question, like when I couldn't find answer, and when, as I was sharing with Alan just a few days ago in an interview he did with me, I began to see myself being pushed out of spaces where I was asking these questions by Christians. Christian pastors would tell me, like, Sami, stop talking about this. It's embarrassing us. It makes us look weak when you talk about loving the enemy and healing the enemy. And that even allowed me, and I thank them for that because that was the space that I needed to go even deeper into my own research. So I'm not gonna go now into the answer, but this is a big part of what we are engaging in. Because when we talk about shifting consciousness, we want to really end the consciousness of violence, not as the act of violence, but as the thought of violence itself. Everything begins with a thought. And this is where that consciousness is so embedded in us. And so I will say that what Jesus engaged in was healing. And at the same time, he engaged in speaking truth to power, in resisting and standing in the face of empire and resist. This is the turning of the tables in the temple. So at the same time, he was inviting people into the healing space. He was also looking at the systems and structures of violence and saying there is no justification for these to stay. And he turned the tables over in these spaces, and he paid the heavy price for that. And so, yes, we will have the space where we will invite you to look into who are the individuals, the groups, the identities in your life that they have labeled you as an enemy and you have labeled them as an enemy. And what are steps that you will reach that you can take to close the divide between you and them. And again, we're talking Palestine, United States, Iran, Israel here. But we're also talking about your neighbor. We're talking about your family. We're talking about your colleagues at work. And maybe this is where we need to begin starting to have these alternative conversations with the people that we have labeled as enemies, and then see from there how it grows. I hope that helps you, John, with an answer without giving you the full answer.
Thank you. That was most helpful.
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, so it will be a journey of deep personal inquiry and questions you may have not asked yourself before, things that you just took for granted, a way of life that you've practiced, habits, addictions, things that you say, well, this is who I am. And the invitation will be to like, okay, is this really? Is this who I was born to be, what I was created to be, what I'm meant to be, what I'm called to be? Or is there something else? Any last question, insight? Roshan is adding the YouTube channel where I've recently been outside of the book just contemplating on the whole notion of the sacred awakening and the Beatitudes and seeing how they are such deeply embedded values in all of the teachings of Jesus. They're not just isolated on their own that he spoke in the first part of the Sermon on the Mount. The Beatitudes are really part of the journey. And they are tenets, they are values. They're not, they're not belief systems. This is the great thing about him. He doesn't say, "Blessed are those who believe in me, for they shall." It's really daily steps and actions that we could take in our life that help us just become the better version of ourselves. Richard Rohr is a hero for many of us. I was talking to Zach about him yesterday. If you need any more information, Tom is going to put his the email of travel. So that let that be any questions you have. It's travel at holyland360.tours. All of you have signed up, so we will send you this email information. We'll send you also this video that we filmed today, this recording. Feel free to share it with friends that you feel are called to enter into the space, if you feel, and if you want them to contact us. And our intention is to create community. So really, from now, feel you are part of a community. Even if you don't make it, just the fact that you are here is community for us. So if you have
Hello.
any questions, concerns, please feel free to reach out. Yes?
I'm John Stoner. I apologize
Yes,
for
John.
joining late. I've been reading The Sacred Awakening, a wonderful book, profound. A quick question that covers a lot, maybe. What does the word sacred mean? Your definition of that as you use it in the title. And I haven't found a definition. Maybe the whole book's a definition of
Yeah.
it.
Well, in 1 minute, I will share and tell you the way I look at it. It is waking up to our potential, our greatest potential as human beings, in how we relate to each other, how we connect with each other, how we are motivated from a heart of love and compassion and care, and standing with those who are the most marginalized and standing against the systems and structures of power, but from an energy source that is sacred, that is embedded in love.
Thank you. I'm not going on the trip. I'm sort of out of place here, but
Well, I'm glad you're here.
thank you.
Thank you for joining us. Any last things from Tom, Roshan, Rawan?
No, but Melissa asked us, how many pilgrims do we anticipate? And Tom said around 10 to 25. He just answered right now
So
as I was speaking the question.
yeah, we're gonna the limit is going to be 25. So this is the group that we feel we could be together in community and hold each other. This is the number that 24, 25. And the minimum will be 10. So if we get 10, then we will be able to do this work. If we don't get 10, we'll do it some other time until we get that number. And I think we have 5 or 6 already registered participants. So just so that for transparency to be aware of where we are number-wise. Great. right on time, the way we like to do it. Thank you all for joining us. Thank you for taking the time. Uh, and please feel free to reach out for anything, any questions regarding the book, regarding the tour, regarding anything. We are here to serve you. Thank you and have a wonderful day.
Thank you. Mm.
Well,
Sami,
hopefully we'll
we
have
have
several of these tours, Judith, maybe 2 or 3 a year if we're able to do it. But we want to make sure that we're able to also follow up with you after the program itself. So it's not just about the experience of it. It is also the integration of the space that is very important.
Sami,
I
you're
think
com
also depending on how this one goes. So this one's the first.
Yeah.
And then inshallah, if it feels that it's pertinent and people are coming and there's a desire and need, then yeah, more and more.
Yeah. Roshan, you had something? No, okay.
No, it's Sherry. I started to
Oh,
ask. I know
yes.
I think you're coming to the East Coast. Is it next week or the week following? Might that be an opportunity for some of these people to engage with you?
Oof, it's going to be quite a tight program. But yeah, we'll see if it's possible or not. Are you going to come to UMass?
I'll be here, but probably not on remotely, but
Yeah.
if you make it to the Bay Area, that would be great too. Wind
Would
and I
love
will
to.
welcome you.
Would love to.
Yeah. Okay. So, but I know some of the people on here from the East Coast.
Yeah. Melissa, good to see you as well, Marsha. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you for